Bill Gates, TED Talks. Always fun to jump in late on the comments. Greetings, campers. So I took the snapshot and we had the killer squid. So I didn't want it to die out and go to black before we came live because I put 4 minutes advance notice. And somebody says, well, I don't get notice. I said, I only give 5 minutes notice anyway because we have an interesting title tonight. Eh? What is it? Something about injectables. Well, we know what that means, don't we? Here's a comment. Highly relevant. Uncle Joe banned the use of China virus. Does that ban the use of CCP virus? And if you use the term, what's the punishment? Is there going to be a court hearing on it? Give me a break. Guy's an idiot. Or maybe that means from government agencies. Very important, campers. First link is our girl Dolores Cahill. She's brilliant. Dr. Cahill, Irish. And a conversation with our favorite international attorney. Hello there, little sparrow. And Reiner Fuelmick. This is tonight's show. The links that I have for you are all very thoughtful and deep. This one is brilliant, and originally by Virginia about a week ago, where it was in German and in English back and forth. It was about a 2-hour thing. I didn't even look at it. But out of Meg's tidbits yesterday, which I'm going to start posting in the Patreon, this was one she put in, and she corrected. And I looked at it, I said, boom, this is huge, very, very important. If you recall, a while ago, first of all, the channel this is on, I think they've got 17 subscribers and there weren't a lot of views. I would recommend downloading this video. Won't last. Dr. Cahill explains an mRNA vaccine, which is not a vaccine. It's gene therapy. It's unknowns, the known knowns, the known unknowns, the unknown knowns, right? So the bottom line is, Rumsfeld, quote, that she lays out how dangerous this could be. She also suggests that the PCR test, which and lays out the whole thing with, now we're getting max headroom. Uh-oh. They must be hitting the fuzz box button out there. So she talks about the concern on the PCR tests as to whether the solution that they add the sample to is already contaminated. Hello? She suggests that it is possible, and I don't know, maybe she was a little stronger than that. You must listen to this. That the various injectable products, my words, may have different components of mRNA content and material. So they're different mRNA stuff. So she's suggesting she would like random samples out of every 100 vials so she can run tests and determine what's in there. You all listening to that? This is crazy stuff. Then she's suggesting that the effect of having that and then being exposed to the wild virus, as was shown in mice, cats and ferrets in the past, and she's referring to studies done in 2011, were devastating to the test animals. Yet, animal trials were waived in order to facilitate Operation Warp Speed. Oh, good. And who waived them? Fauci. Now, there's a lot of stuff, but it's clear, it's simple, and it's, you know, on the same level as Dr. David Martin of the Clarity, except there's no interruptions. There's an intelligent dialogue back and forth, a little bit, mostly her speaking, to Reiner. He's in Germany and she's in Ireland, I assume. And then he chimes in and says, yes, and the doctors are being incentivized. And then they get into the falsification, and I heard somebody talk about that, some farmer guy, 6 months ago, at least, saying they are falsifying official documents. And she points out, and here's the punchline, campers, she points out that is a crime punishable by 5 years in Ireland and maybe more in England. Now, your homework and your assignment, if you're not just clicking around, is look in your state, take a minute, and check what is the law, what is the penalty, what is the prohibition. Ah, thank goodness, the squid. Oh, thank heaven, the squids have reappeared. Against falsifying death certificates. Because the concept is you could cover up murders that way, right? Somebody dies from a blunt force head trauma, and they write it as a virus killed them. And by doing so, they are receiving additional funds. And she points out that they are also receiving funds for running the tests. Troubling. You'll love this and the analysis. And it's very simple. It's not heavy scientific at all. It's very clear. Please watch, because it will make you an informed citizen, an informed consumer, an informed public. Good. So let's see. And she says in here, this is noteworthy. In Ireland, early on, they had supposedly 1,700 deaths from COVID. And they questioned this, and families were questioning this. And she went through it, and by approaching the doctors, because they could just report this to the insurance company without even filing a criminal complaint, that the doctors corrected, they didn't change, they corrected the death certificate. Words matter. And as such, the 1,700 magically got reduced. This is amazing. I've got 73 people watching, not 120, not 200, right? It's because I just didn't leave it at updates. I put something in there that might be construed as, I don't know, what would they construe that as? So it went down from 1,700 to 92. Quite a drop. So that was the real number of COVID deaths, was 92, not 1,700. Imagine what would happen if that same thing was held here, and then establish where the emergency is requiring social restrictions, fundamental right abrogations. Sounded right. I don't think it's the right word. Okay? Interesting thought. There was another little nasty point in there, but I think we might be able to address this here. What if we start getting this out to county attorneys, state attorneys, attorney generals, federal prosecutors who won't do a damn thing? Because if you've got a U.S. attorney or an attorney general, and you get a prosecutor say, well, I want to go after him on this, and the AG say, Pasta Man says, no, we're not going to do that. The guy says, well, I'm going to do it. Well, what's going to happen? He's going to get fired. So we've got us a situation again as they build their defenses against domestic terrorism, right? I told you that too, I think, that if the pushback wasn't immediate, that after these bogus riots that were staged and funded and engineered, that by the time the people realized that they were being abused and having their rights destroyed, by the time they protested, it would basically be criminalized, and the government would be ready. And it looks to me like they're now calling for a permanent wall around the Capitol building in Washington, and they're talking about keeping troops there for, I don't know, another couple of months. And the Republicans, those well-known bastion of fighting for, what do we want to call it, personal liberties after bringing the Patriot Act up, are wondering, why are we having the National Guard there? I don't know. Do tell. Here's a thought for you, just so you don't think that I'm cynical or something like that. How about the notion that says that the military, by seeing unconstitutional criminal behavior, which is essentially a coup, what if they took charge and had these criminals arrested, and it was a military coup? I don't know. In order to enforce the Constitution? Is it possible? Just thinking outside the box, campers. Good comments. Scott. Well, no, initially it was laid out that it was going to be there to, and that was the Q bullshit, to capture the bad guys, right? That nobody was going to leave the cage. But I'm saying now that it's shown that that was nonsense. They're still there. Military could still order it. Say, surprise, your little psyop flipped on you. Imagine that, okay? Not a treatment. Okay, well, I'm going to not watch comments. I'm going to get back to my short list. Please watch link 1, Dolores Cahill and Reiner Fuelmick regarding, I have it written as vax reactions. It's amazing. She talks about the massive number of deaths in old age homes in Palermo, Italy. They received a vaccine in October. They received another vaccine in December. And then they were exposed to COVID and boom, down and out. Number 2, remember I said last week, the Biden administration, one of those lawsuits would definitely be over the oil and gas pipeline. Well, this seems a little different. And being that I haven't read all of these voluminous number of executive orders, this is they're being sued for halting the oil and gas leasing on federal lands. Now, this is leasing. This is not drilling and this is not permits. These are the leasing. The ones that are in place will be there and they're putting a pause on it to the extent permissible by law. You got to love that. That's like an 8th grader talking. The extent permissible by law. The ultimate wannabe catch-all. But they're being sued, which is good. I caught a blurb today on the Epoch Times, and in this link number 2, I included their link to download the app, and I encourage you to do it because it's like coherent stuff. And you could just scroll through the headlines and say, ooh, and pop it and say, let me check this one. So this is good news, and it was confirmed in Texas that the judge did issue a TRO against the administration from prohibiting the deportation of illegal aliens. Okay? And evidently it's for 14 days, but it's going to move forward. What I heard today is there are at least 6 attorney generals from 6 states, and I didn't finish the article. I saw the headline, I was whipping through, saying to the Biden administration that we're back, sorry, that was a phone call, that the government overreach is going to be challenged. So there's going to be a ton more lawsuits, which is really good to know. That was just a passing headline. But this is a quick blurb on the suit for the leasing. The next one is the Corbett Report, which has good info, and here's where something finally clicked. Him and his guy Pilati there, who's in Santa Fe, New Mexico, they do their back and forth, and it's a very thoughtful perspective about the propaganda and the info wars, and he's saying, and this is, I guess, around the 13-minute mark, and he's talking about the bots, and there are other people talking about bots on Twitter, where you make a statement and you get bombarded with the same rehashed crap that has been disproved, and it's nonsensical arguments, but you're being hounded by it. Now, are they bots or are they shills? But the point is, he's talking about it's information warfare. And think about it. Alex Jones called his thing 20 years ago InfoWars, right? Shortly thereafter, we had a thing called Facebook came to light. Now, realize that these two talking about it are talking about social media, setting up Psyops, and they don't mention Berge, okay? Now, Berge was talking about the, what is it, the IIA, or is it AII? The Internet Information, and I can never remember what that IIA stands for, but it's the use of social media in a militarized component as psychological warfare to create whatever, civil wars, and what's a good word? Discord, okay, in societies, etc. Now, that is being used against us. That is perfect, a perfect explanation of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube are being used, deep state or agency or intelligence community, as part of the Psyop, the censorship. When Facebook knocks down things, the censorship is all part of the information war, isn't it? And the bots and the stuff that Berge set up is the info war. And this is like in your face, like unbelievable. And Facebook is run and owned and financed by whom? And what program stopped when Facebook started? They went public, and what was it called? People Log, was that it? Curious. So, yeah, the Corbett report is good. Take a listen to it. It's thoughtful. Then, of course, we've got, what the hell is my title here? This craziness on Wall Street yesterday. This is an excellent discussion with our man Joshua Phillips. And thank God there's no discussion of Arkansas or Illinois. But the thing is, his guest on here is evidently an investment Wall Streeter. And he does a very thorough analysis of explaining what went down. I'll give you the nickel tour on it, and then the comment on the dude. The nickel tour is you had big brokerage house or hedge funds shorting this, what was it called, GameStop. And the argument is that by pushing out the shorts, they're manipulating it. So the Reddit crew got together and had different investment groups, and they used an online brokerage account called Robinhood, which is evidently a little app. And these people decided to fight, rage against the machine, to fight the power. So they started buying the stock of this GameStop and rising the price. Now, when you're raising the price, the guys who are in a position on a short are getting hurt. They have to keep backfilling for the spread that they would lose. So that friggin' price rose 400%. That is a monster hit. It appears that one of these hedgies got slammed for, 16 billion? They got hammered. And it was we the people that did it. These are what they're calling retail consumers. That's, the little guys that buy some stock. Now, if you get 1 million people spending $1,000, that's a lot of brajol, as they say. So it crushed them. So what happened was this little brokerage company, Robinhood, halted trading. They didn't stop the stock from trading. They prohibited their members, their clients, their customers from buying or selling that stock. But that was the whole reason people were there. They're a brokerage. You buy and sell through a brokerage, and they used a little app. They stopped it. This is very questionable. They got sued today. Good to know they've got those hair-trigger lawyers in New York, and they slammed them. And it's like, okay, what's the deal? On what basis are you preventing your clients, right? My client, the lawyer talking, from using your platform to buy and sell and participate in a monstrously large rally that I want to participate in? How dare you? Other companies didn't stop it. They didn't halt trading on the stock, but the brokerage house did. So what this genius says, well, it seems like this company, Robinhood, just shot themselves in the foot. Well, yeah. But does he suggest that perhaps they have a relationship with the hedge fund and they're trying to protect the hedge fund? Hello. Doesn't take much to figure that one out. Then he gives us the lecture on, well, you want to buy stock in a company, you own a piece of a business, it's a well-run business, the value of that share will go up and you'll do well in the long term. Short tail, it's blah, blah. Save it, okay? The whole system is rigged beyond belief. And even when people turn it around and the little guys start hammering the big guys because it's the Lilliputians against Gulliver, or Gulliver's Travels, and they got him tied down with 1,000,000 threads, suddenly they say, sorry, you can't participate. What kind of crap is that? This is a great discussion with Joshua Phillips and his guy. I just point out the one simple flaw that he missed. The rest of it is very authoritative. Authoritative? There you go. Oh, yes, and that's it. And then, of course, if you like the thinking, PayPal to help support the channel, and the Patreon account to help support the channel, because we are advertising free. Dolores Cahill and Reiner Fuelnick, link number 1, very important. Muy importante, y'all. You got to listen to it and then take a look in your state and just do a quick Google search and find out falsifying death certificates. Let's find out what the laws are. Got some people looking, but we've got to go big on this and find out what's the penalty. Because these doctors who are doing this, I suggest they're committing a crime. Let's take a look and see what the statute says, shall we, campers? All right, guys, on that note, if you like the thinking, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Check these links. Dolores Cahill, share that, download it, because I don't think it'll be up for long. This is on not the official original site. This is a copy of the chunk in English. Also, take a look in there. He has a couple of other interesting videos. And one that I guess I'll put up tomorrow is Reiner in the little pub. You remember the pub where in German the cops showed up? Well, here's with him in English speaking in the same pub. So I guess it was at that same meeting. And he's talking to another attorney out of Israel. And they were going to have another conference the next day. And the guy's like, hey, I didn't know you were going to have broadcasting this live to like 50,000 people. And he says, well, after it's done broadcasting, more people will see it. So it's excellent. And they're talking about the impact of the propaganda on the public. And he's saying most of the public is buying it. And he's very skeptical. And he's saying, look, you know, Israel says that they vaccinated 2 million people out of 9 million. He says, if you believe them. I like his thinking already. But he makes a comment in there that I thought was brilliant. And he says, in our teachings, in our books, he says, we say even a little light, a small light, can dispel a lot of darkness. I thought, how interesting. Weren't we just talking about individuals having to bring forward their little light? And the light will dispel the darkness, right? And I use the example of turning a light on in a room, and the darkness is banished. But there are still shadows, but those shadows are actually caused by the light. So there's always balance. Anyway, light does dispel darkness. And remember, a candle is not weakened by sharing its light. Eh? For my Canadian compadres up there. All right. So that's what I've got for you here. I have to upload Virginia's links. Oh, there was another Corbett report I listened to yesterday. And he was talking about the pretty extreme protests going on in the Netherlands. Yes, they are. So I'll get that stuff. I'll take a look through all of it and put up any that's extra graphic for us. And then we must shift focus towards this whole, we'll call it the injectable issue. And when you listen to Dolores, you understand how serious this is and how fucked up it is and how dangerous it is. And then you combine that with, what's his name? David Martin, and the violation of even the description of a vaccine. And we have got a chink in the armor, I think. So I've got to go through Miss Shannon's stuff, and maybe I'll give her a call and see if we can get that. So we've got those two big chunks. The surface area is clear. You have no idea. You see even that little black thing, the extra crap that was in there? Those are just a couple of tchotchkes. They're coming out, and that thing is going away. And we're going to have a very clear desk. Wow. Other people were relating. They love it. It's true. Get a little OCD. I should show you. I'll show you tomorrow. I hung the guitars on the wall, put the amp down, took down a picture. The claustrophobia is quickly banished to the darkness. The light has shone. All right. That's just on a personal note. I know we care. All right, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in. And we'll be in touch. I'll be back tomorrow. And check these links. Important stuff. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, thumbs up. Let's see how many views we get on it. Because I put in a title. What was the other one? Oh, the shenanigans. It's an interesting article. There's another one that I'm going to listen to. American Thought Leaders, where they're talking about the 1776 program to reinstitute the training on the history of America versus the 1619. And the question is, how come 1619 doesn't address who financed and bankrolled the shipping companies to import the slaves? Or were they capturing them, shipping them, and selling them? Who bankrolled that operation? We'll leave that as a rhetorical question, because you have to read cursive writing to go back and see. Ms. Mamba. Yes, Ms. Mamba, good to see you. And definitely check link 1 and share it. All right, guys. Thanks. Good to see everybody again. And as they say somewhere, ciao for now. British East India Company, and who bankrolled them, Scotty? I don't know. Same people. There was a brawl in a temple, turning it to a den of thieves. We'll see you later. FJ out. Oh, it's a beautiful full moon. You didn't think I forgot. Technically, it was at 2:19 this afternoon. And it was a magnificent moonrise. And it's up and blazing. If you don't have clouds, definitely check it out. Warm, cold, or whatever, it's gorgeous. And it's calm. So we'll take a beat on the full moon and then drive on it on the downhill slope. Okay, we'll see you all later. Bye for now. Hi there, rock girl. You know why? I'm Batman. We'll see you all later. Bye.